Hello, Targar friends. Hey, everybody. It's Jason Blaha here, and once again, it's time for another Orc Mode workout. Today was Max Effort Squat Day. Just a reminder, for those of you who like these videos, please remember to click like down below. Also, since the dislike bots are already hitting hard this morning, if you guys just run down and click like on all my videos if you watch this, just for the day, it would also be greatly appreciated. But over to the point. Box squats with 30 pounds of bands. These are the lightest bands I have. Ended up not going super heavy, 475, but off this deep box set felt pretty heavy. And it ended up looking better on camera than it felt. It felt like the lockout was grindy, but it wasn't on camera, so I'm happy with that. Also, you guys are going to get a better example today of what my 4-day-a-week training is going to look like. I've had people come in and try to make suggestions like, oh, you should just keep the frequency up and reduce volume. No. Let's be realistic here. For most of your major muscles, the evidence doesn't support that for advanced lifters training them more than twice a week is going to matter. Only some smaller muscles that you can recover from more. I am much better doing 4 really big workouts than having 3 days of restoration training. Right? What do we mean restoration? Reverse hypers, abs, maybe really high rep tricep extensions with the bands, just because my triceps could use it for the benching. Extra grip work, right? Nothing intensive, stuff that's actually restorative to some extent. Again, like the traction from the reverse hyper, which I'll be using every day. So I need 4 big workouts, and I can't come in and play around. This can't be nonsense. Okay, this has to be serious, and it has to pretty much take me close to my maximum recoverable volume. I'm still going to continue a lifestyle oriented towards recovery. So yeah, we are going to be training it at pretty much maximum recoverable volume, and I need everything to get hit thoroughly. And I've got to pay careful attention to all my weak points. So there was the max squat. That felt slower than it looked. It looks really clean. It didn't feel clean. It looks it. So I'll take it. But what do we got to do next? We got to really hammer all these possible weak points. You know what? I feel that my T-spine and erectors do need the work. I've been working on my neck, only doing basically neck bridges with my harness. So I don't want people to think I'm telling people to train all angles of their neck. I will state, again, it's stupid to do this. Okay, I get it if you're a contact sport fighter, but training all angles of your neck will cause health problems. Okay, it'll cause health problems. So the only reason to do it is to prevent a worse health problem, right? You know, and I don't get that when natural guys want to do that. It's like, wait, you're getting one of the biggest side effects of steroid abuse without taking steroids. That is so stupid. Just take gear. I mean, I don't get it. I really don't understand the mentality. I want to give myself sleep apnea, heart problems. It's like, wow, okay. But the backside of the neck isn't as big of a deal, and it really, the safety bar causes problems. And it still made me dizzy for these, but I was able to handle it. Now, some people are going to go, why 15s? Because technically this is 10 pounds more than I was doing. This is 155. That's a 65-pound bar. The safety bar isn't a 45-pound bar. And again, remember we talk about angles? It's 6 inches higher up. It's a 6-inch longer moment arm. I can only handle 15s. It's pretty much limit sets for me. So why this? And notice that I don't keep my chin up. I let my back roll, upper back roll. And we're using the safety bar. This creates a much more pronounced back effect. My middle erectors, mid traps, T-spine, pretty much all of my spine from my traps, actually even lower back all the way down to about my glutes really. I felt that entire area light up even on the first set. We could argue that I might need more of that for my deadlift. I still feel it's hamstrings, but I'm going to hit both. We know I could use it for squatting, right? Because I do sometimes get pulled forward a little bit on the squat at the top near the lockout. All right, we'll make sure that we hit this. Make sure the T-spine is strong. Okay, I'm going to pay extra attention to full back development from here on out. None of this while I've got a big back. I do have a big back, but there are certain parts of my back that are still underdeveloped for a strength athlete. Okay, this stuff needs to be hit. And since we're going to do really high volume training, we need to address everything. So we're going to see, again, a couple different chest exercises. We're going to see different exercises for all parts of my back. All right? Again, this is going to be very, very high volume training. I'm only training 4 days a week now. And my whole spine needs to be trained top to bottom. I can't have any weak links in that back, especially if I want big lifts. Okay, if I want to get my squat, bench, and deadlift all to exceptional levels and keep them there, that's what I have to do. Everything has to be addressed top to bottom. That's why we're doing 2 different forms of rows now. They work the back differently. Now, granted, some of the stuff's only going to be on bench press day. And I will say, I felt ridiculous DOMs in my delts this morning. I had to actually do a bunch of stretching, massaging, all my normal mobility stuff for my shoulders, and it finally helped. I got up and did some of that at like 2 in the morning and then went back to bed for a couple hours. Those upright rows hit them way harder than I expected. I'm assuming it's the rows. It might have been even the inverted rows. They may have been a factor. But we know we hit some weak areas. We hit some weak areas there, because I need that upper back to be developed. But we're not worried about the upper back as much today. This is going to be the whole mid back. And back is more than just lats, guys. Yeah, I've got big upper traps right now. I need that middle trap. I need that lower trap thicker. Stuff like this will build it. We have to build that. We have to build the erectors all the way up. So I'm even doing the neck work just so that I can do these with less fatigue on my neck. There are times when we have to come and do extra little minor things just to supplement another supplemental lift. Okay, welcome to trying to become elite. But you know what? Those did the trick. The whole area that I feel extremely light up on the deadlifts when I'm grinding now, I felt lit up there. So again, we address all areas, which is what? I think the hamstrings are the weak link. So I'm training the hamstrings, but I also, the area I'm feeling, because I'm worried it's compensating, I'm also training to make stronger, because you know what? If it's compensating, it still needs to be stronger. And if it turns out to also be a weak link on my deadlifting, if it gets stronger, everything gets stronger. And you know what? No one has ever gotten a weaker deadlift by strengthening their erectors, all of them, top to bottom, or by strengthening their hamstrings, right? Deadlift isn't going to go down by doing that. And also, again, it may help with my squats. But what's the main thing for the squats? Again, we address all of it. I felt like quads are becoming a weak link. Now, we could argue a little bit of that upward lean is generally not quads, right? It has to do with other stuff. So we're addressing the T-spine with the safety bar squat good mornings. We're addressing the quads here. And you know what? Let's be honest. Could the quads be contributing partially to my deadlifts? Look where my weak link is. We could argue that hamstrings are the weak link. But you know what? If my sticking point was just a few inches lower, we'd be calling quads, wouldn't we? So let's just kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Let's blow these quads up. Right? This is when we get serious. This isn't a game anymore. Low 600s deadlifter, mid 500s squatter. I've got to get those up, and I've got to get them cleaner. Got to get that bench up. That's why we have 2 whole days every week dedicated to nothing but bench exercises. Right? Bench gets the most attention, and a little bit of even my lower body days like this address the bench slightly. Okay, the bench is taking a slight priority because it needs the most work. But again, over to this. I added a little bit of weight. I only went up 10 pounds. But I added another set. We did 4 sets of 20 instead of 3 sets of 20. And I'm recovering better, like I wasn't as wobbly after. My quads are getting used to this. So we increased weight and sets. Weight and sets. And some of these I'm not getting as super deep as I feel like I should. I'm probably still hitting depth just because of, again, the angles and the top of my quads being that big. But I try to get, especially as I get further in, making sure I get that depth. Because we need this to build that deep squat. Right? We need the quads to grow in a way that carries over to the bottom of the squat. So we're box squatting to a deep box that's 3 inches below depth. All right, super deep box, at least for me, 11-inch box. Doing these, build the quads up, get that power out of the hole, and then all the glute and hip strength and everything else I've been building will kick in. We got to get out of the hole faster. Okay, we need to hit that sticking point faster. Because if I can hit that sticking point faster, I can wait another couple inches to externally rotate my hips and drive through and use my hips and my glutes to follow through. Okay. So we've got to build the quads. We've got to get that power out of the bottom. Especially if I want to get better at going deep, because my 552 squat I feel is a hair high, which means I wouldn't be able to do it if I go 2 inches deeper. Well, what do we need for that? Quads, specifically the whole lower quad, which again, mine's pretty big. We want to put another 50 pounds on my squat and get 2 inches deeper though. Okay, that's going to require more quad. That whole lower quad you see there, that's going to need to grow another inch. Has to. And we have to think about it from hypertrophy perspective. It's no longer, oh, I just can lift heavy. All right, I max out every day. We're hitting max lifts 4 days a week still. No longer about just lifting heavy. It's about stacking meat on in the right spots. Okay, and so these days, is there obviously you guys can see we're dedicated to building all of it. Then we do these glute ham raises, and now it's very hamstring dominant. Okay. Notice my leg is straight at the top. I completely lock. And we use the hamstrings to do most of the work. Obviously, there's a little bit of back, but it is mostly hamstring. Getting better at it. I managed to hit 5 sets today. And normally before I was getting like 9, 9, 9, and then 8. Today we got 4 sets of 10, and then I could only get 8 on the 5th set. All right, we're making progress at this harder angle. Again, hamstrings are coming up, and they didn't cramp up on me like last time. I had a problem when I did these the first time. After I did my reverse hypers later that day, my hamstrings cramped. But it was also all that fatigue. I've had a day off, and I'm about to take the whole weekend off. It's going to be nice. Like, wow, whole weekend off of training. Only 4 days of real training. So, but the point is, guys, the volume's going to be high. So I've got to build to a 5th set of the hip belt squats. So we did 5 sets of the safety bar good mornings, 4 sets of the hip belt squats, 5 sets of glute ham raises. So at least we know my hamstrings got 10 quality sets. You know, all my erectors got 5 quality sets. Quads got 4. I mean, we could count the max squat as a set, the ramp up. Suppose we could. And I think that's reasonable given the volume of the others. We could count it as 5 sets. My squat and my deadlift days are going to be pretty much identical, other than one of them will be a max squat, one will be a max deadlift. It's not going to be the case of, oh, we'll work more quads on the squat day and more hamstring on the deadlift day, because I only have 2 days to train my lower body. I need all of it to grow. I need my back to grow. At least on my back as it is relative to deadlifting and squatting. This is basically a full body day. I mean, if you think about it, because what are we not hitting? Pecs, delts, triceps, none of that, but everything else is going to be worked. So I'm going to row, and then I'm going to do some band curls. We're hitting everything. These these 2 will be full body workouts, and they're a lot of work. That's why I stack them at the end, by the way. People ask, why are you going to go bench, squat, day off, bench, deadlift, day off, or 2 days off? Because the benching uses less muscles. I'm just focusing on pecs, delts, triceps, shoulders, upper back on those days, with maximum volume, of course. That's easier to recover from, and it doesn't interfere with my heavy lifts. My heavy lifts, if I deadlift and then try to bench the next day, it's going to interfere. We've learned this the hard way. There first, because it's also a priority. The bench is a slightly higher priority, so we always want to have a day off before we bench. But these days, then I get time off after. I get time to recover. Rows, I'm unhappy with it. I was doing the 190, if you guys recall from the green plates. They're getting too sloppy. I'm struggling with the grip. As much as I would love to do 10s, I can't grip it effectively with the Axial bar with a weight I can do 10s with. I feel like I'm losing effective training. So I bumped the weight here to 160, as you guys can see now, because I was using 30 or 15 pounds of small plates that you couldn't see behind the reds. Now you can see those 10-pound blacks. Now I'm up to 160, and I managed to get 5 sets of 15. And only having to regrip on the final sets. The first set, I think it just knocked right out. Having to do some regrips, usually getting at least 10 reps. than regripping. So technically, these are PRs. Even though I've gone back to 15s, I'm up 5 pounds. Right? And the main thing is that I am able to grip this. So again, I'm going to be limited because I'm using the Axial bar as a tool here. It is going to limit sometimes what I can do. But we have to have it, and it's still hammering my back. I mean, I feel my whole middle back, lats, erectors, all that. But the beauty of this is, it's like, again, people see me doing this, and when you do it strict, this whole topic comes up of, oh man, I can't do these. My low back is too fatigued from other stuff. You guys see what I just did? You need to build work capacity in your low back. If you can't row after doing good mornings or after doing deadlifts, you've got to build your lower back capacity. That's a problem. And you need this. This isometric training for your low back after doing those, man, it adds a whole new element, right? Continuing to train it. Obviously I take time off from it on my bench days now. So I'm not training it on those days we're doing the inverted rows so that we don't have to deal with this. But you know what? You guys have to build your work capacity in your low back. Have to build that work capacity. Speaking of which, I had to laugh. Literally had someone in the comments, and it got a bunch of upticks too. It's interesting. It's like, oh yeah, you're reducing the training because the deca ran out. Oh my God. My training volume is going up. My accessory lists are going up. I'm just cutting days out. So again, ridiculous. But yeah, we're increasing volume, guys, and we're going to keep trying to PR on all these. The 10 rep maxes, 15 rep maxes, 20 rep maxes, they all have to go up. We have to keep getting stronger. So yeah, this is volume. It's going to be a lot of volume, and I've got to get those hip belt squats up also. So that's the plan. Get the hip belt squats up. But man, this was a lot of work today. In fact, I didn't even want to do normal curls after. I'm going to have to be honest, like after doing this much work, the idea of even playing with stupid dumbbells, it does not appeal to me at all. So I decided to go ahead and do a set of my band curls, and I might just do just the band curls again for just a bit. You know what? They work, they're effective. We're getting a ton of heavy pulling all 4 days. I can go back to just doing my band curls like I've been doing to make sure that my tendons get stronger, that we get good blood flow. We build, again, blood flow and capillaries and all that to the biceps, build the tendons up. And you know what? My arms might even grow just from doing enough of these. Yeah, ultra high reps, we could argue about that, but I'm doing so much other rowing and pulling. These probably do what I need to finish them off. They really do. I just don't want to mess with dumbbells and stuff. I'm just tired of setting stuff up at the end of this. Fatiguing. But it was a great workout. I'm happy with it. I'm ready for my weekend off. So I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.